sorry, but I think Olga's terrific in that, don't you think? As a leader, it's just wonderful. I think she's so great. And of course, James is wonderful too. Listen, you spoke about Stephen Campanelli, the director, earlier. You worked with him on Seven Psychopaths, and you were a fan anyway because of his Clint Eastwood work. So I'm assuming that's why the two of you wanted to get involved in the project in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, it was also, of course, the script and the part that was attractive, and it was the first time I had the opportunity to be the lead in an action film, to be the action hero. So it was quite exciting because, of course, in James Bond I did some action, but it was the secondary part. I worked with Stephen on Seven Psychopaths, and he was the camera operator there. So he actually he called me up and he said, I'm going to direct my first film and I'd like you to be the lead. And there was an offer, and I was thrilled about working with him. Yeah.
And James?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Clint Eastwood, and so I've seen all the films. And you can't not watch those films without being aware of the way the camera's moving. And when you're doing this kind of film, you need to have somebody who's in charge who really understands about pacing and editing and just the way that you move a camera to keep the momentum, going. And I like the script, and I liked Mr. Washington. I like the cut of his jib. So yeah, and I like her.
I like you.
I think she's really terrific. I think she's great in the movie, and it's a real pleasure working with somebody who is so good at doing this kind of thing. So that was a pleasure.
You apparently didn't question anything. I mean, Stephen just said, do this, and you went, sure, I'll just do it. You never even thought, for a moment, okay,
Well, that's why I was excited to do the film in the first place. I actually liked all of those, I realized what I was going to do and all the training that was going to be involved and that I was going to be involved in, and that's the fun part of it. I always say you feel like a kid in the playground because it's, you get to learn all this stuff and experience it. And, a lot of it you do pretty much for real. So it's great that there are all these professional people that teach you that and explain how to do it. But yeah, it was rather Steve questioning me. I remember him saying, okay, you have to go straight into that wall, but you have to, you can't slow down, but you have to turn left at the last moment. It's that scene in the parking lot. And he said, just make sure you turn left. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, no, you really have to turn left, but you have to go straight into the wall. So he was, I think, worried about me, but I felt, when I was driving, I felt like I could do it all right. But it's a psychological thing, When there was a stunt driver driving me, I was scared because I wasn't in control. It's a silly thing. Obviously, they're much better than me, but that's what you get.
And you were telling me earlier, you don't think Mr. Washington's a psychopath, you just think he's a professional doing his job.
Yeah, I think that, the world is unfortunately full of men like that. We've all become very aware, haven't we, over the last 10, 15 years of, that strange collusion between government security agencies and black operatives in companies like Blackwater and private security firms, and they all seem to be the same men. They drift from one place to the next, and you can do a little bit of time with the agency here, a little bit of time with MI5 there, a little bit of time with Blackwater here, and you're in that world, aren't you? And I don't think he's a psychopath. I think he's just doing his job.
Listen, enough from me. I'm going to throw out to you. If you ask a question, you will get one of these lovely posters of Momentum signed by Olga and James earlier. So it is worth you asking a question. So go ahead, fire away. Yes, sir. This gentleman in the third row.
How long did you shoot in South Africa, and what was the budget?
Let me repeat the question. How long did you shoot in South Africa, and
What was the budget?
Oh, well, I'm not going to tell you the budget of the movie, but I mean, you can if you want, if you're allowed to. But
Actually, how long? Were we there for 2 months and a half?
I think we were
Was
there for
that?
10 weeks, yeah. 10 weeks
It was last year. I really forgot.
And it was 10 pence and a piece of string.
Good answer. I'm looking for yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Olga?
The training, yeah. Great training. I loved it. It was, well, I had to do a bit of just boring gym, which I hate doing, but it was just to kind of, bulk up and to get back in shape, I guess. But the most important thing and fun thing is training with stunt guys. So all the choreography that you see, all the fight scenes, I had to do that pretty much every day for 2 weeks prior the beginning of the shoot, and then like a couple of times a week we had to rehearse it. And then lots of stunt driving. What else did we do? Well, some work with guns. But yeah, the stunt driving is another thing that I love doing, and there was a lot of driving that I did by myself, which is exciting.
And the thing you hated doing the most was the vertigo when you were holding James's
Yeah, there's
tongue.
one thing that, like I love driving and do stunt driving and do any even dangerous looking scenes. I don't mind, but what I don't like is standing high up. And that scene when I'm saying, is this face enough for you? I was absolutely terrified doing that. Going into the wall with the car was fine, but
She
doing
was,
that,
but I never felt that she was going to drop me.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
James, how long did it take you to pick out your tie for today?
Do you know what? Before I came out tonight, I was wearing a red tie, and then I suddenly remembered about the fucking movie, and I thought, I'm not going to wear it. I think I better stick with the blue.
The tie question. Yeah. Yes, sir. There.
In post-production, did the production team consider the possibility of making this an IMAX movie, showing it on IMAX screens, considering all the action and driving in it?
I wouldn't know about that.
Good on an IMAX screen.
It was good enough to be in an IMAX theatre, basically, I think. Is
Let's start a little GoFund project for that. We'd all put 5 pence in.
Yes, the one person waving.
Hello, a question for James. Mr. Washington was a really nasty piece of work. Did you have a first name, and did you have a backstory for him?
No, he has no first name, obviously. He doesn't have a first name. He was christened Mr. Washington. And no, there is no backstory to him. He comes ready formed. Yes, of course, I worked a bit of stuff out in my own head, but, frankly, that's for me to know and you to find out. I don't think you're interested.
But surely your name has to be George.
It's George Washington, exactly.
Let me go right to the back. Right to the back there.
I think ran through sequel, so I can imagine this becoming a bit like a franchise or
A sequel?
Well,
do you
it
think?
ends with the possibility, and I'd love to do it. And it just depends whether the movie has success or not. And if it does, then we'll be doing another one.
I would be first in line to see her do this again.
Yes, who else? Who else was trying to get... Yes, there. I'll come to you in now, I promise, yes.
For Olga, which other characters, female characters in action films inspired you for your role?
So
Which other characters in your action movie sort of helped you with this role?
Oh, well, definitely Camille in Quantum of Solace was a big preparation, even though it was, quite a couple of years ago. But that's when everything I'm doing in this movie, I learned for the first time there. So that was the base of, this is the base of everything now. I kind of, I'm prepared for any stunts and I know what's expected from me. So I think I would say that one was the most important one. And I don't think I've done as much action since the Bond film until Momentum. Because all the other parts, even though the movies were action movies, I didn't do as much as I did here and in Quantum of Solace, but here I do slightly more. So.
I mean, we're in the week of Spectre opening, of course. I mean, when you look back on your Bond girl experience, I mean, is it something you really enjoyed? I mean,
Yeah.
Or you wear it like a millstone around your neck? Or
Oh,
you
no,
think,
I loved it. And of course, as I say, it was so interesting for me because I was, my character was so much involved in all the action, you know, I wasn't just walking around in a pretty dress. And she was very, you know, she was a fighter. And so all the stuff they taught me and all the workout I had to do was great. It was just so interesting. And stunt driving included. So.
I said I was going to come to, so yes.
What was your inspiration for your character?
For Olga?
Yes.
Inspiration for your character?
Inspiration. Well, just a good, highly trained agent. I mean, I've seen, you know, there were movies that have portrayed women like that, and I rewatched. I rewatched Salt, to be honest.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I love that film, and I think Angelina is great in it, and this is the type of woman that Alexis is. And so she was. That was, I guess, she was my.
Your role model.
My role model. That's the word.
Anybody else? Yes, in the middle there.
How hard is it for women to get action roles like that in Hollywood?
How hard?
Well, I don't know. Steven offered it to me, so I guess it wasn't. I didn't even do anything for it. But I think we're seeing more and more women that getting these lead roles. Salt is the example, and then there was Lucy and there's Momentum. There are other things. So women get the opportunity to play strong female characters more and more. So I think it's not anymore as difficult as it was before, which is great. So I have nothing to complain about.
A couple more before we have to move on. I'm going to go. Yes, person waving.
Hello, this is a message for Jane. Do you enjoy playing the bad man or the goodie? You've been playing a lot of bad men recently, like
No,
in the
I
following.
really don't at all enjoy it.
You don't enjoy
It's
it?
a real trial.
You look like you're enjoying it. You're having those few comedy lines thrown in. You look like you're having fun there.
Well, the devil always gets played the best tunes, doesn't he? So I've had a run of bad guys. What can I say? I'm not going to pretend I haven't. I'm playing good guys at the moment on a wildly different thing for Sundance TV called Happen Leonard, and we'll see how that goes. But it's I think one of the troubles is people like it, don't they? And it's very hard to escape after a while because people like watching you do that shit.
But as I said to you before, you're quite sexy in your villainy, though.
Oh,
That's
you
the thing.
Sugar lips, stop it.
Yeah, right at the back there.
Oh God, here we go. That's a good question. I have no idea, to tell you the truth. The whole thing about James Bond is, you have to be young to do James Bond. Very sweet.
Listen, I mean, you said you're doing Happen Leonard. People have already seen you in High Rise. That's coming out next March, so that's another film. Olga, what are you up to? What's your next film?
It's an Italian film, but it's in English. It's directed by Giuseppe Tornatore. I did it this spring-summer, and it'll come out in Italy in February or January. So I don't know where it'll come out all over the world, but yeah, that'll be my next premiere, and that's a drama, no stunts, nothing. I was rather learning about astrophysics for that one.
Well, listen, wish Momentum well. I think it's a terrific film that sort of comes from nowhere and really surprises you with how great it actually is. And I think, as I said, Olga's fantastic in it. We need more roles like that for women. James is terrific. He's one of my favourite actors. I'm so pleased you turned up today. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you for having us.